Football is a game of skill, passion, and unforgettable moments. With football comes thrilling goals, last-minute saves, and wild celebrations. But sometimes, things get a little too intense, a little too weird, and a whole lot scary. Today, we're counting down the 10 scariest moments in football history. Moments that made players freeze, fans gasp, and even the commentators lose their voices. The first moment on our list is the tragic fall of Masato Kudo. Back in 2013, this guy was on fire, scoring 6 goals in just 12 games as Kashiwa Reysol stormed their way to the semi-finals of the Asian Champions League. Not only that, but he also found the net twice in just 4 appearances for the Japanese national team that same year. Clearly, he was a player to watch. But then came that terrifying moment. During a match, Kudo got caught in a brutal collision with another player and hit his head hard on the ground. It was so bad, he started bleeding from his mouth and lost consciousness instantly. Sadly, the injury caused severe brain damage, and despite all efforts, Kudo passed away on October 21, 2022, at just 32 years old. Masato's passion and talent left a mark, and he's remembered fondly by fans and teammates. 9. Masato wasn't the only one who lost his life. In another scary incident, Juan Izquierdo, a 27-year-old defender for Uruguay's Nacional, collapsed on the pitch during a heated Copa Libertadores match against Sao Paulo on August 22, 2024. It happened in the 84th minute, completely out of the blue. He wasn't even in contact with another player when he suddenly went down. At first, there was cautious hope. Izquierdo was rushed to the Albert Einstein Hospital in Sao Paulo and was initially described as stable, but things took a turn for the worse. He suffered cardiac arrhythmia, then cardiac arrest, and despite resuscitation efforts including defibrillation, his condition deteriorated quickly. He was put on a ventilator and placed under neurological care, but tragically, he suffered brain death and passed away on August 27th. Izquierdo's death hit hard, not just for Nacional, but for the entire football community. The Uruguayan leagues postponed their matches that weekend, and tributes poured in from around the world, including from Real Madrid and fellow Uruguayan star Luis Suarez. The defender left behind a wife and 2 young children.
Ojo que están pidiendo asistencia para el jugador de Nacional, mucha preocupación. Cayó desmoronado el jugador de Nacional.
¿Es izquierdo?
Parece ser izquierdo. Se toma la cabeza Mejía.
8. While sadly some players have lost their lives on the pitch, others have had terrifying close calls and somehow walked away to tell the tale. And John Terry is a good example. Back in the 2007 League Cup final between Chelsea and Arsenal, things got seriously scary in the 56th minute. Terry was going all out for a diving header when Arsenal's Abou Diaby, trying to clear the ball, accidentally caught Terry right in the face with a boot. The kick was so brutal that Terry swallowed his tongue and couldn't breathe. The stadium fell deadly silent as medical staff rushed to his aid. Luckily, help was right there, and Terry was treated quickly, his airway cleared just in time. In no time, he was back at the stadium. But because of how hard the kick was, he still found it hard to remember anything from the incident. 7. Tom Lockyer is one of those footballers who didn't just survive a scary moment on the pitch, he literally got brought back to life, not once, but twice. On June 5, 2023, during a playoff championship final, things took a sudden and terrifying turn. Tom was doing his usual midfield duties when his heart started to misfire, beating irregularly and causing him to feel dizzy. By the 8th minute, his body just gave out and he collapsed right there on the field. Thankfully, the medical team was quick to jump into action, and they managed to save his life before it was too late. You'd think that would be the end of Tom's health scares, but no. Just months later, on December 15th, during a Premier League game against Bournemouth, Tom suffered a second heart attack. This time, it was even more serious. He was clinically dead for 2 minutes and 40 seconds before doctors managed to revive him.
Tom Lockyer was playing the 15th match of his first season in the Premier League. We're not showing the agonising moment Luton's captain collapsed after 59 minutes.
After this harrowing experience, doctors implanted a special device inside Tom to constantly monitor his heart and be ready to act if anything like that happened again.
So that's my battle wound. So my defib sits in there. As you can see, it's and then there's a wire that runs across here and then up to the heart in case it ever needs to go off. Yeah, so that's constantly monitoring my heart rate, and if it goes outside certain parameters, it's designed to give me a shock. And yeah, that's the wire that runs up, and I think that battery lasts 10 years.
6. Not all scary moments happen on the pitch. Sometimes the real drama unfolds off the field, where help isn't always just a few steps away. Take Mateus Silva, for example, who nearly lost his life during what was supposed to be a fun vacation. It was 2017, just before the 4th of July, and Silva and his teammates wanted to kick back and enjoy some downtime. They decided to head out early, around 6 a.m. to Lake Tahoe to beat the crowds and soak up some beach vibes before a big game later that day. Everything seemed perfect at first. Silva ran straight into the lake, diving in and swimming all the way out to the buoys, enjoying the cool water. But then, out of nowhere, things took a terrifying turn. Silva started screaming for help. At first, his teammates thought he was just messing around, but when he suddenly went under, panic set in. They rushed to pull him out, only to find he had no pulse and wasn't breathing. They rushed him to shore, where the lifeguard immediately started CPR. It was touch and go, and at first, nothing seemed to work. Silva remained unresponsive, slipping into a coma. But after 2 days, he finally opened his eyes. What happened? You see, the water was freezing cold, and his body went into shock the moment he jumped in, causing his heart to stop. It was a close call, and he was incredibly lucky his friends were there to save him. Unlike this family who had no one at home to save them from the hands of robbers. 5. Okay, let's take a quick trip down memory lane for this one. Angel Di Maria was in the middle of a highly anticipated match when, out of nowhere, the phones of several team members started buzzing non-stop around the 62nd minute. Suddenly, Angel had to be escorted out of the stadium. What on earth was going on? Well, it turned out his family was in serious danger. Some criminals had been watching Angel's house for a while, knowing exactly when he'd be away for game day. As soon as they confirmed he had left, they jumped on the opportunity. Angel's wife and 2 young daughters were home alone when the intruders broke in. The criminals held them hostage, running through the house, grabbing anything valuable they could find, especially Angel's prized jewelry collection. His wife was powerless to stop them and had no choice but to comply, hoping to keep her family safe. It was a terrifying moment for everyone involved. Thankfully, the story doesn't end there. 4 of the criminals eventually got caught and were sent to jail. Even the greatest players out there have had moments that made fans' hearts skip a beat. Take Lionel Messi, for example. Back in April 2017, during a nail-biting Champions League match between Barcelona and Juventus, things got seriously intense. This wasn't just any game. It was a battle for a spot in the semi-finals, so both teams were leaving everything on the pitch. The score was still 0-0 as the first half was winding down. Then, Messi went for a high-flying leap to get to the ball, but when he came down, he landed hard and slammed his neck against the ground. The medics rushed over, and later, doctors revealed something chilling. If Messi had landed just 2 millimeters higher on his neck, it could have been fatal. 2 millimeters? That's thinner than a penny. Thankfully, Messi walked away from it all alive. 3rd, as intense as Messi's near miss was, it still didn't top the wild ride Cristiano Ronaldo went through one fateful morning. On January 8, 2009, Ronaldo overslept. He woke up in a panic, saw a flood of texts from his teammates asking where he was, and realized he was seriously late for practice. Now, Ronaldo wasn't just going to hop in any old car. No, he grabbed one of his multi-million-dollar Ferraris to make up for lost time. What started as a quick dash to training quickly turned into a heart-stopping moment when Ronaldo lost control of the Ferrari. The car smashed into a wall, and let's just say the luxury ride didn't survive the crash. It was completely wrecked. You'd expect the worst, but here's the crazy part. Ronaldo walked away without a scratch. Not a single injury. Clearly, the universe wasn't quite ready to let him go just yet. After all, his fans still had plenty more magic to see from him.
It was probably the worst moment that I passed through because I almost died. I had just woken up and my phone was blowing up because I was late for my training session. I hopped out of bed and had just 20 minutes to make it all the way across the city. Luckily, my assistant had the keys ready for the one car that could make it in time. My brand new Ferrari. I jumped in and started speeding towards the team facility. And it seemed like I'd make it just in time, but as I made my way through a tunnel, I should have been paying more attention to the road because I drove right over a puddle of oil. My tires lost traction and I ended up kissing the wall. My Ferrari was completely destroyed, but somehow I walked away without a single scratch on my body and still made it to training that day.
This is Cristiano Ronaldo's £150,000 Ferrari, and it's a write-off. This after he crashed into a metal barrier in a tunnel near Manchester Airport at around 10 o'clock this morning. Amazingly, given the tangled wreckage of the car, Ronaldo wasn't hurt.
2. Ronaldo got off lucky with his crash, but Kylian Mbappe? Not so much. The guy nearly lost his sense of smell. And that's no small thing when you're running around on the pitch giving it your all. It happened during a Euro 2024 match against Austria. The game was intense, and in the 86th minute, Mbappe went head-to-head with an Austrian defender in a collision that left everyone gasping. The impact was brutal. Mbappe started bleeding heavily from the nose and mouth, and you could literally feel the tension ripple through the French squad and fans watching at home. It was one of those moments where you just hope the player can shake it off and keep going. And true to form, Mbappe didn't let the injury slow him down. He stayed on the pitch, pushing through the pain like the warrior he is. This wasn't the only scary injury France had to deal with during that match. Antoine Griezmann also took a nasty hit to the head, adding to the nation's collective nerves. Thankfully, both players made it through without losing consciousness.
Sí, en el final, cuando impacta la pelota y termina de girar, ahí encuentra la cabeza del adversario.
Football isn't just about what happens on the pitch, and this terrifying incident will explain how. This scary incident happened in France, where football passion literally shook the stands. Quite literally. It was a high-stakes Ligue 1 Northern derby between Amiens and Lille, and the atmosphere was electric. Just about 15 minutes into the game, Lille scored a goal that sent their fans into wild celebrations. You know that moment when the crowd erupts, jumping up and down, chanting and cheering like they just won the lottery? Well, imagine all that excitement combined with a bit too much enthusiasm, and suddenly, it all went down. The barrier collapsed under the weight of the celebrating fans, turning a joyous moment into a terrifying one. At least 29 people were injured, with 5 seriously hurt. That day, the stands became as unpredictable as the game itself. So, which of these moments had you holding your breath the most? If you've got a story or a moment that gave you chills, drop it in the comments. And hey, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss out on our videos.